right? And then once you get that one tackled where you're interrupting the pattern, so I'm going to use the plate with the leftover scraps of food as an example. One way I tell my clients to interrupt that is say, okay, kids, you got to take your plates, dump them, scrape them in the garbage, and then put them on the sink.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
I know what to do. I am trying to lose weight. I have a plan to follow, and yet I can't seem to get myself to follow it. I keep eating when I'm not hungry. Does this sound familiar? Well, then you are in the right place. Welcome, everybody. I am health coach Judy Terrell, and I am nationally board certified health coach. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology where I specialized in the behavior of addiction, and I have 40 some odd years in the fitness, weight management, and over 50 coaching field, and I am now putting together this video series. It's a 6-part series on the things that I see most commonly that are patterns that my clients are battling to get themselves to stay on their programs, the patterns that are underlying that, the neuropathways that go right into autopilot, and then what you can do for each one of them in order to get yourself to stay on your plan and get the results you're after. All right, so this is episode number 1 out of 6 episodes. And in this episode, I am going to talk about impulsive eating. All right, I have so many clients that will tell me, I've designed an eating plan for them. They have it and they've followed it for a period of time and it works. But then they notice that impulsive behaviors get in the way and it blocks them from their weight loss. For instance, they might be serving their grandchildren or their children lunch, and as they're putting the plates away, it's been stressful at the lunch table. And as they're cleaning up, they're popping the extra stuff that's left on the plate into their mouth. And then they say to themselves, what am I doing? Another way this happens is you're at work, it's a stressful day or it's a long day and you want to just get out of there, and you walk by your coworker's desk who has a candy dish, or there's cookies in the, in the common room, and before you even realize what you're doing, you've popped 4 of them in your mouth. And another third way that this happens is somebody has prepped their food for their family and themselves. They're driving home. They've had a stressful, long day. They get home. All the food's there prepped, but it does have to be cooked. And everyone decides, you know what? We're going to order pizza tonight. Impulsive. Every one of those examples I just gave you, the common theme to them is that it was an impulsive, knee-jerk, in-the-moment behavior that sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it till after the fact. But I will tell you the way out of this, because this happens so often, and it's so frustrating because I have client after client will say, I know what to do. I just have to get myself to do it. And I will say back to them, knowing what to do is half the battle. You have to have the food plan that you want to follow. You have to have the foods ready that you need to eat. But just knowing what to do isn't going to be the skill set you need to stop yourself and interrupt yourself from doing things that have been autopiloted, programmed into your nervous system of your brain impulsively. Okay, impulsive behaviors are these autopilot behaviors. So knowing what to do is not going to give you the skill set to interrupt the pattern. You have to know, how do I interrupt the patterns? How do I get myself to do what I want to do, not just knowing what to do? And now I'm going to tell you what to do with this impulsive behavioral pattern. What you have to do is a little bit of research on yourself. You have to take 5 days. Your Second 50.life is my virtual platform that is designed for both men and women over 50 and 60, 70, and 80. And it includes pre-recorded video information on exercise and how to do it, whether you're fit and in good health, or if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, a bad back, whatever. It includes information on how to eat for weight management and how to eat for health management. It includes information on the psychology of aging and what do we need to do in our heads, because let's face it, this aging thing is not for the faint of heart. So your Second 50.life is a virtual platform of resources that you can access at your own leisure, but it also includes 2 times a month live video coaching with me, so that you can bring your own individual questions and get individual coaching, as well as have access to all the information on the pre-recorded videos. So please check it out, because we're all in this together. And we got this. And you have to keep a little, note, like an assignment notebook with you wherever you go, in your pocketbook or in your pocket or around your desk or wherever. And you have to witness. You're looking for the patterns. Is it true that you impulsively eat when you're at work in between lunch and getting out of there? Do you notice a pattern that on days that you're, particularly stressed or you're in the company of this particular person, you then tend to have all your food ready, but then you stop to go on your way home to get something that's much more tasty. All right? You're looking for patterns. You're being your own sleuth. And you can't do it retrospectively in your brain because these are blind spots. You have to take on a little pre-work, and you have to, like, if I was coaching somebody, if I could live with you and, kind of trail behind you and take my own notes, I'd be able to say to you, okay, here's a pattern I observe. Zoom, which is a per purchase eating plan, is trying to do that as they're analyzing with an algorithm that you tend to eat, off your plan, when you're eating impulsively. They will try and diagnose that for you. Well, you can do that yourself. You just have to take the time. So you take 5 days and you're writing down every time you notice now retrospectively that you impulsively eat. And now at the end of the 5 days, you do a little analysis. What are the patterns that you observe that have come out? All right. And now that's part one. Then part two is once you've identified the patterns, now you can strike preemptively. Okay. After a long day of work, when I'm working in the office, I notice a pattern. I keep stopping at the smoothie shop to get a drink, and then I'm going to drink my dinner, but that's not the dinner that's on my plan. Oh, and I see that pattern. Then what I'm going to say to you is now you have to look at what can you do to temporarily stop that pattern. So in that instance, I would say to someone, if I was coaching them, you have to drive home on a different route. Okay, maybe it's going to take you a couple minutes longer. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll take you shorter. But the point is, you've got a pattern interrupt, because you will not be able to interrupt the impulsivity. It's happening before it even gets to the front of your brain. It's been a patterned behavior. So you can't interrupt it until you have to plan to interrupt it. You have to interrupt the already established pattern before you can establish another one. And the way you do this is you identify, come up with three from your sleuthing out process of 5 days, and hit one at a time. All right. And then once you get that one tackled where you're interrupting the pattern. So I'm going to use the plate with the leftover scraps of food as an example. One way I tell my clients to interrupt that is say, okay, kids, you got to take your plates, dump them, scrape them in the garbage, and then put them on the sink, okay? That's one way. Now, if the kids are too young, they can't do that, but you're getting my point. In that way, you are now avoiding the situation behaviorally in the environment that leads you to go into autopilot before you even have the chance to get it into the frontal brain to interrupt it, okay? All right, everybody. So impulsive eating is a big, block to being able to stick to your plan and to be able to have established, successful weight loss in the long run. There's my tip for impulsive eating. Stay tuned for episode number 2, where I'm going to address compulsive eating, which is a whole different skill set. All right, everybody, be well. See you in the next video.
And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.